Canada, Switzerland, and the rest of the world, Supersonic's money transfer has got you covered. With the largest payout network in the Gambia, you can now receive your monies anywhere you are, from Kartong to Koina, with less hassle. Yes! You can receive monies from your family and friends in UK, Europe, USA, Canada, Switzerland, and the rest of the world with our safe, secure, fast, and convenient service that offers you the largest selection of payout locations in the Gambia. Supersonic's money transfer. We are currently in 34 African countries and counting, giving you quality money remittance services that are second to none. Visit the Google Play Store or the Apple Store today to download the Supersonic's money transfer app and enjoy excellent money transfer services only with Supersonics.
Membe kerim babu wolom akakenu nyameng niko akakenu nyameng nunto adol be nyaadile parce que niamoy ko ado nen ciosano ka hadama dingole signify ite mu jumale ite bota jumale bala wol fanal bota jumale fanal bala
ñu na lan dekil sa ada aso ciosan akakenu nyami num na amé dem
babu ko ne dinni ngo jibe e ko akalon ko yemmen fo
xama sa ada aso ciosan motax Gambian Talents TV ak Ibu ak babu ñu tok ñu ne il faut ñu dunda sun ada asun ciosan
tunto alfal kela dimbayali ke kuluno nyaadile ke kulu nyaadile fo butero lo bang fodum e ka dumuro le dila bang fo ka mum felle dila ñun programme le biwo be sene andila
kon kenn ku nekk bo buké xam sa ada ciosan fu nga baye ko sama fu nga baye ko
nunto alfalu ila sunkurundi woli ke pare nyaadile ila dum fengol fanal be nyaadile ko mun dum fen sifalle fanal dum ñun programme le fanal be witandila
nena lan ku wati sa ande anu bodam nga fekk fofam
tel dindi mankaje ke balka julo city yiro balay ka fo finja julo ga ko be siring e be ko jijala ko mol bitay do tari ko fola dindi woli
lu do am demba du tax amatu tay la motax top suñu nasaral faté sun ada accetan
ak kenu ñameng
ada accetan ak kenu ñam topal lañu ahamas bu jot judom waxtu be judom ñaar waxtu fan la mo amé ci Gambian Talents TV ibula ak babu
Gambia Competition Consumer Protection Commission, Mr. Sise, management and staff of Pura, service providers and other representatives, distinguished guests, media here present, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. The Gambia Public Utilities Regulatory Authority is pleased to welcome you all to this important gathering. We thank and appreciate your presence. At the inception of GSM operations in the Gambia in 2001, subscribers received short message services, otherwise known as text messages, from telecom operators. This medium was used when the operators wanted to pass vital information, such as network failures in some parts of the country, and when they would be fixed. As a result, subscribers received SMS on new coverage areas, especially during expansion by operators to new areas. They also receive information on system maintenance upgrades and the period maintenance would last, which were usually sent to subscribers at odd times of the night, sometimes at midnight. These were communicated via SMS. These SMS were generally received without complaints because they were informative. Over the years, however, as the use of telecommunication service for the delivery of business services increased, operators on behalf of their business clients began to send bulk SMS messages to subscribers on their networks, as this was not only seen as a marketing tool, but it was also seen as a value-added service, as a result of which consumers receive unsolicited promotional SMS messages across networks, with subscribers sometimes receiving up to 10 to 12 SMS messages. SMS messages in a day, which overloaded their phone storage capacity and became a constant drain and nuisance. Understandably, as a result, the authority received complaints from consumers of all operators as it relates to these practices through our 148 free phone complaints hotline. These interventions by consumers are what led to the formulation of the D&D guideline that we are here gathered to inaugurate here today, and it seeks to empower consumers and ensure that all such messages and services sent to them are solicited. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I am pleased to announce that from today, consumers will be given the power to choose either to receive or not to receive SMS or value-added text messages, automated voice calls, direct marketing calls. A unique short code has been developed, .1040 has been created, which will be used by all service providers as a means to actualize the request of consumers. Please note that failure by any operator to honor the request of consumers in this vein would lead to punitive action on the said provider to the tune of $50,000 per infraction. In this vein, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, please note that both the authority and all service providers here present will carry out massive sensitization campaigns on traditional and digital media platforms to sensitize consumers on how to utilize the DND service. And hopefully we'll see a presentation today how this will be done and how we're going to actually embark on this. We also hope that this platform will provide an avenue to all operators in building their database of consumers and their respected areas of interest that they can exploit as a targeted means of engagement with their consumers. In conclusion, I would like to thank all consumers who in one way or another contributed in making this important milestone a reality by fully utilizing their right to complain to the authority, as a result of which we listened, acted, and hopefully we can all benefit from this venture. On that note, I thank you for your kind attention. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I will take you to a short presentation about how does DND benefit consumers. Consumers now have the right to opt in or opt out of DND. So now the consumer has within 24 hours of choosing the service. Opt-in process is free, so the consumer doesn't have to pay anything to opt in or opt out of the DND 1040. You have the right to full or partially subscribe to DND. For full implementation is when you want to receive, customers should not receive any message on their device from 8 a.m. Should only receive services from their respective service provider. Code for full DND, you have to send stop STOP to the 1040 to stop all DND services from your service provider. The command code for the, and then you will get the following options for financial service, education, health, entertainment. To the sensitization, this is the official mascot for the DND. So wherever you see this mascot is know that it's DND. So if any of
Executive Officer of the GCCPC to also give some remarks. Mr. Cisse, you have
that. As you know, the Gambia Competition Consumer Protection Commission is mandated to enforce the Consumer Protection Act 2014. And like she said, we've received a lot of complaints. What she did not tell you is that some of the complaints emanated from us to them, from the customers. What we have is we have an MOU with Pura. As you know, they are the sector regulator for this sector. So when complaints of such nature comes, naturally we have to refer it to Pura first and then work with them to solve it. The Consumer Protection Act 2014 has a section that guarantees your right to privacy, freedom to choose or opt from services. And it's under Section 5 of the Consumer Protection Act. So what I'm actually saying is that in addition to coming to Pura, there is an act that guarantees your right to opt in and opt out, and you can access that through the Consumer Protection Act at GCCPC. I mean, Section 5 guarantees that. And like I said, we've been working with them on this for quite a long time, so we welcome the initiative that they've taken to solve it, and hopefully that this is done, we can now put a cap on this, and we'll work together to make sure. I mean, we protect consumers. I mean, that's what they also do. I mean, they're here to serve consumers. So we will partner with them in the dissemination and tell consumers that they have the right to opt in, opt out, guaranteed under the Pura Act, guaranteed under the Consumer Protection Act. So I'm happy to join Pura in this initiative. Thank you very much.
There's a tool that is used to actually monitor and actually verify data usage that we have acquired. I think we are in the final stages of acquiring this particular tool. And like we said, this is something that we are being helped with. Nicholas is the director of ICT. Hopefully before the end of the year, it will be here. And we recognize this. Like I said, regulations happens after the fact. I think a lot of people will tell you, well, Pura, you guys are consumers as well. You also know this. But with regulation, there is a thing called over-regulation, there is a thing called meddling, there's a thing called fanning the flames, where operators would actually think that we are the ones pushing consumers to actually make these complaints. But that is why we have an avenue of having a free phone number that anybody can call, 148, to complain. If you make these complaints, either by a single person or by a class of people, we will take these complaints seriously and we will engage them. But we have, I think a lot of money has been invested to this venture, and we recognize it as a problem. It's a complaint that we keep receiving, and it's something that we are going to do something about. So gradually, these things will keep coming, and we will fix them as they come. And Nicholas, hopefully you want to say something about the equipment?
Yeah, the problem is, and then we'll take the necessary action. So hopefully, what I was saying is that we've had these complaints that consumers feel cheated by these operators in terms of data usage. And as an operator, whatever you do, you have to make sure that you have evidence. And the evidence cannot be done willy-nilly just by looking at it and so on and so forth. So that's why we had to solicit funding from the World Bank, and the equipment would most likely be operational by the end of the year. When it is operational, anytime there's an issue from any operator, or even before an operator customer complains, we will be able to do our monitoring and evaluation and take the necessary action. So hopefully by the year, end of the year, all these things will be history. I want to thank the consumers for their patience. We know it's a challenge. We know that it's something that has been bothering them. And we have listened, and we are taking the necessary action. Thank you very much. And just to touch on what Mr. Sima has said, during the about 2-3 years ago, we had fines received from operators, and we did actually use those funds to fund the ward at the maternity ward at the RVTH. The people that actually caused the problem were not actually compensated, but then at the ward, it's for everyone. You know, my wife, your wife, people from Basse, anywhere, you know, would benefit. So we've done that, and we've also sponsored a lab, internet lab at Mindau, where, you know, all the students were, you know, learning IT skills and so on and so forth. We could have, you know, used that money for ourselves, but that is not what we do. When we have an infringement and enforcement, we don't use that money for us, because if we do that, people will think that we are after the operators so that we can be able to generate money for ourselves. That's not what we do as far as regulation is concerned, and as far as best practice is concerned. We use it for the social good of everyone. Thank you very much.
You realize under the Pura Act we have been established. So basically, our main purpose and function is to regulate these sectors. So we regulating them is to ensure that they provide satisfactory services to the consumers. So this is why when you have issues pertaining to compensation, that is not our role. And our fines that are actually imposed are to serve as deterrents. So the operators would ensure that they would provide satisfactory services and not to go contrary to the DND or the IC Act, basically. Because you see, that's the particular act that is actually used in regulating these particular sectors. So our role is not for us to provide this compensation, but provide this fine so that they ensure that they do the right thing. So when it comes to the issues of compensation, like he said, then you have the Consumer Protection Act and you have the Consumer Protection Tribunal. You can go there and seek redress, and then if they are found liable, then you can be compensated accordingly. Thank you.
Because there's no system that's foolproof. We have done checks. We have even brought registers to ensure that data is collected right. And we are doing everything in consultation with the service providers. For the past months, we've been working with them to ensure that their systems and what we want are in line, because we don't want to launch it and we have challenges. I think even before the week started, we sent them the register of information that we are going to collect for them to look at it, because we don't want to go further and then we are having challenges. Operators are telling us our systems cannot do this, or this thing is not consultative. We don't want that. So that is why the authority, there's this term we even mock our superiors, we call it supportive regulation, in as much as we are regulating these sectors. But when it comes to certain things, especially that are for consumer goods, we try to engage them on it and bring in systems or bring in solutions that will work for the authority and work for the service providers. That does not necessarily mean we are best friends with them, but it's ensuring that the projects we bring in and the solution we are bringing in for the consumers are workable. Because if you don't do that, there's a chances that if the service providers don't want to implement, or Pura just takes that responsibility and not involve them, we will go to a point where they will have challenges and we will not be able to solve it. So that is why our modus operandi basically is to work with them, make it consultative to ensure that even if we have challenges in future, because these are technology related issues, but then they're minimal and it's something we can work together to resolve. Any questions? And we hope you would take the information received from here and also be the ambassadors of Do Not Disturb, because I know all of us sitting here are consumers and all of us are affected one way or another.
If you want to receive monies from UK, Europe, USA, Canada, Switzerland, and the rest of the world, Supersonic's money transfer has got you covered. With the largest payout network in the Gambia, you can now receive your monies anywhere you are, from Kartong to Koina, with less hassle. Yes! You can receive monies from your family and friends in UK, Europe, USA, Canada, Switzerland, and the rest of the world with our safe, secure, fast, and convenient service that offers you the largest selection of payout locations in the Gambia. Supersonic's money transfer. We are currently in 34 African countries and counting, giving you quality money remittance services that are second to none. Visit the Google Play Store or the Apple